he didn't skip any detail. So that attention to detail was just something that I picked up on, and it rubbed off on me in different aspects of my life, not just with football.
Right.
You know, it's easy to just get so enamored with your sport. You know, this is what I do, this is what I love, but you have to be a full body of work, so to speak.
What's up, y'all? Back with another episode of The Amateurs. Today we got Jordan Hill, Harvard football player, man. You know, thanks for coming on and joining us, man.
Nah, definitely. Thank y'all for getting me out here. Y'all doing some cool stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. So what's been going up? What's been going on with you, bro? You know, what's been going on with you with football, you know, school, everything? How's any updates with football?
Yeah, so in the well, they canceled our season for the fall. Yeah. So the main thing that we were trying to push for within the team was just getting some type of semblance of normalcy back for the spring semester. Having conversations with coaching staff, with the athletic director, all that stuff. Nothing has really come to at this point. Right. But aside from that, I mean, everybody's just been working out. Myself, I'm here back home in Maryland. I've had the chance to work out with a couple guys on the team, and then there's guys up in Boston. We're all working out together, so we've just been trying to find our way to get better and just keep building towards the championship next year.
Definitely. And this is your senior year, right?
Yeah, this is my senior year, so I had to make a decision to take off the spring semester so I could come back the following fall.
Yeah,
man, I didn't know that. That's tough, man. Yeah. But hopefully everything works out. I'm praying that, you know, like, I feel bad for the Ivy students, especially seniors. Like, this is your last year. I got to go out on top.
So yeah, can't fall out. Can't just let it just run away from
sure.
What was some of the things, you know, you was doing during the quarantine, man?
What else have I been doing?
Oh yeah, during the quarantine. What was some of the things, you know, you've been doing?
Yeah, I've definitely kept myself busy. Myself and Bryce are both a member of the Make a Play Foundation, and that has been a good way for me to stay connected and meet other athletes around the country who find themselves in the same predicament as all of us, and giving us a way to build those connections, to be a mentor and a mentee is a very interesting component of the Make a Play Foundation. And yeah, that's been great. I also had the chance to intern at the NFL virtually this past summer. And I mean, aside from that, it's just the same old, you know, working out, getting a chance to be back home and with my trainer and some guys from my high school has definitely been cool. You know, just to see all these people who you haven't really been around for the last couple of years. So it's been good.
Definitely. And we'll get into the NFL internship. Definitely want to hear more about that a little later. But as Jared already alluded to off air, we have a game that we try to spring on our guests called the 1 minute warm up. Let's try to, you know, get to know our guests a little bit more. So we have about 10 to 11 questions. You get a minute to answer them. Get one skip, and yeah, we can hop into it. Jared will give you here to let you know you have 30 seconds left, 15 seconds left, and 5 seconds. So yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, on the first question. All right, who is your favorite athlete of all time?
Ray Lewis.
Dream school growing up?
Stanford.
3 words that best describe you?
Proactive, tenacious leader.
Okay, favorite artist out right now?
21
Savage. Okay, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Bad Boys 2.
That's a good one. What's one thing you can't live without besides your phone?
Football.
Favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
I like that. Hidden talent?
30 seconds.
Ooh, hidden talent. Writing, like writing books.
Okay.
Stories.
Who has had the biggest impact on you?
My dad and my brother joined.
Okay. Favorite sports team of all time?
Washington football team.
And what's the number one item on your bucket list?
Sheesh. Go to each continent.
All right, just in time. Just in time. Man, but writing, that's interesting. Is that something that you looking to pursue, long term, putting out any work or?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up writing. I had the chance to go to like this gifted and talented school for 4th and 5th grade, and each week you got the opportunity to just do something creative. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was always writing. Like I would write these little short stories, and it's something that got away from me, honestly. And up until this year, I'm in this class on apocalypse. And so now we're getting the chance to write our own apocalypse. It's interesting. So to me, I just wanted to take the class so I would have the opportunity to do that. And yeah.
That's what's up. I mean, that class sounds crazy. But I think that we all have that one thing that we were really into when we were younger and it kind of got away from us. So it's dope that you able to bring that back into your day to day.
Yeah. All right, bro. So let's get into it, man. Who put the ball in your hand, and where did your love for the game, originate from?
Yeah. So my brother is definitely the natural athlete. He's my older brother, older than by 13 months. So growing up as the younger brother, watching him, we'd be like playing basketball, playing football. He's always beating me. Eventually, I'm like, I can't have that keep happening. You know what I'm saying? I got to get better. I got to find a way. So that's definitely where like my competitive edge kind of started and then grew and manifested into me now being a college athlete. But him and then also my dad, I mean, we would just go to the gym, just lift, go to the park, play catch, whatever it was. I remember I was in elementary school. I might have been 8, and we just were myself and my brother were just throwing the ball around in the backyard, and I like tackled him and popped his shoulder out. And then I think he realized, okay, maybe he might be up to something. But yeah, that's definitely how it got started.
Okay.
I can. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy. You want to say something?
No, you good.
I was gonna say I could tell that rivalry, that brother, rivalry is pretty tough. You said he's one of the most, impactful people, in your life, and then you started talking, and I could see you smiling and probably thinking back to some memories. So, and then you popped his shoulder out, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, me and my brother used to go at it, and honestly, I'm better for it now. But there's days when you're growing up, especially it's just you and your brother. We're the only two. Those battles get pretty heated. So,
for sure.
Yeah, you learn where you are and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we definitely had battles on the court. Me, Bryce, all our friends with basketball, so definitely understand that. All right, so let's transition into high school. You had a tremendous high school career, 3-time letter winner, 2-year captain, second team All-State, team MVP. Led your high school to a regional championship. And then on the academic side, you were a part of the National Honor Society and the AP Scholar. So, I mean, everyone listening out there, this is just a fraction, of his accomplishments. But, can you talk about your high school career and, what was your favorite high school memory?
Yeah, I really walked into a pretty good situation in high school. I had a great high school football coach, Coach Neesmith. And he had created a great program for us where he didn't skip any detail. So that attention to detail was just something that I picked up on, and it rubbed off on me in different aspects of my life, not just with football.
Right.
It's easy to just get so enamored with your sport. This is what I do. This is what I love. But you have to be a full body of work, so to speak. You have to be a full person. And so, Yeah, I mean, you listed off some of the stuff that I did, but for me, I never really thought about it that way. These are just things that I was interested in, and if I'm going to do something, I might as well do it well.
Right.
And if I'm going to do it well, I have to pay attention to the details. And that mindset is just how I went about high school. And favorite memory from high school, I would have to say my sophomore year going to the regional playoffs.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we didn't win states. That year, we only lost to one team. We just lost to them twice, once in the regular season and then once in the playoffs. So that still stings, but, you know, you learn, you get better, and yeah, keep building.
For sure.
Definitely. I'm happy that you talked a bit about paying attention to details. I love when we have a conversation and something comes up in the sports world that's kind of transferable to, the professional realm or life after sports. So for listeners out there, paying attention to detail is definitely something that'll help you to accomplish all the things that Jordan has, but also exceed, and excel, in whatever you do after sports.
Right. And then he brought up a great point, being well-rounded. Like, you play a sport, but you're not the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, you more than just, a football player. And we more than just basketball players and athletes. So I think, like, that's a great point, for you to bring up.
Definitely. And then going back to what you talked about, making it, downstate but not winning. And then going back even further to the brother rivalry that you had, growing up, this guy was that for me. We were both like the only child, basically. And we've always gone at it. And imagine getting knocked out of the playoffs every year in high school by your best friend. That was me. Like, I never made it downstate because of him.
Man.
Crazy. So let's transition into the recruiting process and your college decision. Can you talk a bit about what the recruitment process was like for you and ultimately why you chose Harvard?
Yeah. Well, like I said, my favorite school was Stanford growing up. That's where I really wanted to go. Something about California and just being out there would have been great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think it was my sophomore year. The summer going into my junior year, I had the chance to go to a football camp that they put on, and it was like a full pads camp.
Okay.
Probably one of the only camps like that in the country. And so went out there, was in communication with some of the coaches, didn't get the offer, but had the chance to meet other schools. Because for anybody who's out there paying attention and listening to this podcast, when you go to a camp, which I'm sure most of you guys know, it's not just that school who's there. They bring in other coaches from different schools, whether that's in like their neighboring consortium or just schools that they think the students and the athletes that they're bringing in would be a good fit with. So I had the chance to meet Coach Johnson, who's still on our staff right now, up at Harvard, and built that relationship. And then I think that I still had some other offers, like some MAC schools, Toledo, Buffalo, those type of schools. And then, I mean, I got a couple more Ivy League offers. I got all the Ivy Leagues except for Princeton and Brown. And then my senior year in high school, I think it was like week 3 or 4. One of those weekends, I went up to Harvard's campus on an official visit, loved it, and decided that's where I wanted to spend the next 4 years of my life. And interestingly enough, my cousin, who he lives in New Jersey or lived in New Jersey and was getting recruited by Harvard as well when I was in like middle school. And so he went up on an unofficial visit, and just to get my brother and I out of the house, my uncle took us with him. And, at this point, I mean, at that point, I didn't know anything about Harvard. I'm just there, young kid, just looking around. So yeah, it's cool that it all went full circle, and, just to know that you had so many people invested in you and you get to pay it forward, so to speak, by getting a chance to go to a place like this is incredible.
Definitely. That's dope.
I think that's interesting too, bro. Like for us with basketball, like AAU was pretty much how we got our offers. But like for football, it's crazy how different it is. Like, with you guys going to camps and stuff, being able to be recruited like that. So I think that's, that's pretty interesting. The difference between the two sports.
Sure. I guess during the process, had you received any like advice where you're like, oh, I got to pay this for, I got to tell the next generation, or in general, do you have any specific advice pertaining to the recruitment process?
Take your time. I mean, as much as you think that you're making a decision about what school you want to go to, that school has something invested in you, which is why they gave you the offer in the first place. So just understanding that, and that's for athletics, but also just academically. I mean, these institutions aren't just handing out, free vouchers thinking that you won't bring anything to them. So take that time yourself to really make a decision that you can stand by for the rest of your life, because that's what this decision really is at the end of the day.
Like that.
Yeah. First off, bro, I want to congratulate you for being the 147th selected Harvard captain. Seems like you've been a leader your whole life, like you said. Yep. And you were the captain, in high school, and then now for Harvard's football team. But I think, that speaks volume to who you are, as a person, both on and off the field. Was being a leader already in you, or did you develop that, attribute over time?
I mean, I'd say I'm still developing it. And even at that, as much as I'm the captain, it takes the whole team. It takes the seniors alongside me to help, instill the culture that we want within the team. But just for me personally, I'd always say I was somebody who led by example. If I knew the right way to do something, I'm going to do it that way. And if somebody's not doing it that way, it's pretty simple. Like, hey, jump on the bandwagon. Let's go this way. But
for sure.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't something that was difficult for me there in that aspect. What I've had to grow in is just being more of a vocal leader. And it's something that my high school coach challenged me to do when I got to Harvard. And it's something that I've definitely gotten better at, but there's always places that you can keep developing yourself. So,
Definitely. Yeah, as with anything, it's always, a continuous, growth process. But I can definitely relate to that. I've always been put into leadership positions growing up, like in sports or even like in class sometimes. And like you said, I will always lead by example, but I was never comfortable with being that vocal leader and telling people like, hey, like, let's do this, and this, like, things like that. But later on in my career, I saw the importance, especially as a point guard. I played point guard in college. I guess super important. But just taking that initiative to be like, all right, like I'm gonna own this leadership title. Is there a point where you experienced that you're like, all right, like was there a defining moment or something? You're like, all right, like I'm gonna own this quality as a leader, or is it just something you just, I don't know, just fell into?
Yeah, I mean, similar to yourself, I was put into leadership positions growing up. So I guess having attention on me wasn't something that was new to me or anything like that. And in terms of deciding, hey, this is like how I'm going to lead, I'd say I really stepped into that. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting when you're playing football and you're on the field, you are who you are. You have to be a natural person the same way with you on the court. And so being a leader there is never difficult, in a game, in practice. It's about like within the lines, or outside of the lines, excuse me, in the locker room, just on the little things like that.
That's a good point.
Consistently being that guy to instill that culture that you want within the team. And yeah, I mean, I'd say that I've had to step into that role more, seeing as right now everything's virtual. And everything that happened this past summer, with everything in terms of social justice and leading those conversations on the team, trying to drive our program in the right way moving forward. So, yeah, I'd say that definitely forced me to do that a little bit more, be that leader.
Gotcha.
Bryce was always a leader, even when we played together. I mean, off the court too, he never was the guy that follow anybody else. You know what I'm saying? He always was a leader. So you always had that, bro. That attribute.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. bromancing right now. You know, unfortunately, as we talked a little bit, I think that was off air. It might have been at the beginning of the episode. You know, the Ivy League canceled fall sports, but there's still a chance, you know, for you all to have your season in the spring. And you're obviously preparing for that now. But like, what are some goals or expectations personally, and then as a whole, you know, as a team that you have for you guys?
Yeah, I'll talk about the team first. I mean, if you just look at us over the past 2 years, all of our losses have been by one possession or less, basically. Mm-hmm. So obviously we're doing a lot of things the right way. We just are struggling with finishing, and that's from the top down. That's myself included. I go back to the Yale game, and it was the last drive of regulation before it went into overtime. We lost that game in double overtime. On the last drive, it was 3rd down, and I came up and made a stop, forced a fumble, but they got it back. And this is on the goal line too. So it's like on like the 5. And, you know, in that moment when I made that hit and I saw the ball was out, it's like, you know, that jolt of just excitement. It's like, okay, yeah, we're about to win this game. And then the very next play, well, they get the ball back, the very next play, they had a very good concept, and then they just throw the ball basically right next to me, like inches away from me. Next thing you know, it goes into overtime, double overtime. We end up losing that game. So it's not – I bring that up to say that you can be like a step away, feel like you made that play, but if the clock is still ticking, there's still time for something to happen. You have to forget whatever you did on the last play and find out a way to win right now.
Yes,
so for us, that's definitely just the biggest thing, is to find a way to win those close games and to win at the margins. And I mean, our goals are the same as they always are, to win an Ivy League championship. And I honestly think, well, I know that we can do that. And there's no reason why we shouldn't do that this upcoming season. For me personally, I still have lofty goals for myself. I want to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Love it.
I want to kind of inch closer to number 1 in terms of tackles for like Harvard history. I think right now, if I just averaging what I've done the past couple of years, if I have like 70 tackles, I'll be like 4th on the list. So, you know, you always want to set goals for yourself. And I appreciate that. But yeah, just those 2 things, I guess. Win Defensive Player of the Year and then do that. But if I don't do that and we win an Ivy League championship, I'm completely fine. You know, I just need a ring. I didn't win a ring in high school, haven't won a ring yet in college, and this is potentially my last year to do so. You know, so that's really where my mindset is at.
Yeah, love it, man.
Yep. Let's transition into, you know, the work you're doing off the field. Like we said, you're on the junior board of directors for Make a Play Foundation. You intern for the NFL, just to name a few of the things, you know, you've done so far. How important is it for athletes to build, you know, a foundation for their careers? How important is it?
It's, you know, the most important thing you can be doing. As athletes, we get a hand in the table, so to speak, in terms of building relationships with different power players in different areas. And Make a Play, I don't know the exact statistic, but I think it's 80-some CEOs played a competitive sport at some point. So athletes, we kind of build this mentality of like hard work and work ethic that transitions seamlessly into the business world. It's just about finding where you as an athlete, or no, just you as a person want, like, what do you want to pursue? And taking that same mentality that you put into your sport into that. And I mean, there's no reason that you can't do both of those simultaneously. You may have to give up some other things in your life. You might have to pull some distractions out, but it'll all be for the better in the end. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, for sure.
That's definitely the most important thing you can be doing.
For sure.
Sports going to end someday.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. No, that was great. I was just about to talk about that. Like well, a lot of athletes fall into that mindset of like, I'm playing the sport. This is who I am, embodying that, like completely, which is fine. You should, give your all to everything that you do, especially, what you love. But as you mentioned, like you can't play sports forever. I think that Make a Play is doing a great job of helping students to realize more opportunities out there in the business world and setting them up for that. So huge shout out to Amal and the Make a Play Foundation on that front.
Definitely.
For sure. But going back to the NFL internship, how did you land that internship? What was the, I guess, application process like, interviewing, the whole nine? Could you speak more about that?
Yeah. So my sophomore and junior year, I was sitting in on this class at our law school. The professor, it's a sports law class taught at the law school. And the professor just so happened to be a former Harvard football player that one of my friends, who was also on the team at the time, told me about. Like, he told me about the class and said that he went. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna tag along. And then I just started going more consistently.
Yeah.
Built that relationship with him. And then who came? Jeff Pash, who is like the number 2 under Roger Goodell at the NFL, came in and I just walked up to him at the end and was just like, hey, I want to work in the NFL. I want to work in football. What are some ways that I can do that? And got his contact information, just started talking to him more consistently. He sent me the application and I just went about that the normal route, but just having that relationship in my back pocket as somebody to not only like field ideas and questions off of, but also just to it kind of made my, I guess, resume a little bit more legitimate in their eyes. It's like, oh, I mean, not necessarily my resume, but when you're interviewing and you're like, yeah, I was sitting on this class and met so and so, then that piques their interest and they're like, okay, let me learn a little bit more about this guy. So yeah, did that whole process, and it would have been great to be in person and at the New York office, but hey.
Man, but I think that a lesson there is like the importance of relationships, and nurturing those relationships. Like, as you mentioned, we do get, the leg up and have an opportunity to meet certain people, but we don't always take advantage of that. And as Jen and I'm sure you too are starting to realize that, especially in sports, like the industry is super small. So it's definitely about who you know and being able to have someone that'll champion you, So athletes out there, start getting used to networking, putting yourself in positions to have those conversations and have those type of opportunities. And you spoke a bit about having to do it virtually. Of course, COVID shook a lot of things up. Can you talk more about the experience, the virtual experience, I guess, and some of the things that you were able to do as an intern with the NFL?
Yeah, so the virtual experience actually probably helped me just see different parts of what the NFL does. So one thing that they did over the summer was just like a career panel in each of their different sectors, right? So the NFL is like any other corporation. There's a whole bunch of different things that they're doing. It's not just what you see on Thursday Night Football. It's like the corporate partnerships, they're like internal player development teams and all that type of stuff. So they gave us the opportunity to see each of these different groups and meet with different power players within each of those groups. And yeah, that was pretty cool for myself. And then I also was interning within the player personnel department, which works with a lot of the like day-to-day transactions. So over the summer, if who was picked up this year? I guess Cam Newton, his deal, they have to, when a team finalizes all the contract stuff, they have to send that into the NFL and they send that into the player personnel team. So I got a chance to just look at them. Obviously, I wasn't doing anything with them, but I'm on the computer looking at Pat Mahomes, like new contract and all that money, and just like, it was cool in that respect. And I mean, yeah, it was a great opportunity, great experience for me.
Definitely. And you talked about when you walked up to the guy that visited your class, and you told him, I want to work for NFL. So obviously you have an interest in working in sports. What's your long term goal? What's your long term career goal?
Yeah, so long term, I want to be a GM of a team, and then eventually start my own like player representation practice. My brother and I had this idea a long time ago. He's currently at Howard Med School, his first year med student. And so the idea would be like, I represent the athletes and then he handles all of their medical, all that stuff.
Dope.
I don't really know enough about that, but he does all that. And
that's what he's for.
Yeah. But, it'd just be cool. And I mean, it gives us a chance to stay around sports, which we love. And, you got to find a way to do what you love when you find a career. So, yeah.
1,000%. I love that, man. That's a huge goal. I'm 100% that you're capable of doing it. I'm rooting for you on that.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Now, you're in your senior year. What's one piece of advice, you would tell high school, athletes entering college?
I would tell you, don't let a day go by where you're not, trying to pursue what it is that you want, right? It's easy to, get caught up in your phone, get caught up doing whatever it might be. Yeah. But if you want to be a professional athlete, if you want to be a doctor, there's something that you can do. You can put 5 minutes into that every day at the bare minimum, and if this is something that you really love, you're just naturally going to invest more time into it. So in high school, just start giving yourself the time to realize what that thing is. What is your passion? Because when you get to college, there's going to be a whole bunch of opportunities, and they won't necessarily be thrown at you. You almost have to go out and pursue them. But in that, you just want to know exactly what it is that you want to do. Obviously, you won't know exactly what it is, but to have some sort of idea so that you can, walk in the right way.
Definitely.
That's great. That's great advice, bro. That's great advice.
1,000%. I mean, this has been a great episode. I think it's a lot that younger athletes can, and even college athletes that are around our age can listen to and take some things from. But before you go, is there a quote or a mantra that you live by and want to share with the audience?
A quote or a mantra? I don't have a quote. I used to have this. I still have this poem in my room. It was from what's that movie? Coach Carter. Mm-hmm. I know that poem where
yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why I'm blanking on it right now, but
he said it like in the gym at the end, right? Yeah, I know you're talking about. What is your deepest fear? I mean, that's the line, the first line.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who are we to be beautiful, strong, The question is, who are you not to be? It's kind of butchered the end, but y'all get to do it.
They're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel it right here. They're gonna feel it. Yeah. but that's I like that though. You're gonna make me go back and watch the movie now.
Got you.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Thanks again for coming on. Got some great goals. I'm definitely gonna be keeping up with you this season and even after that.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. And like Bryce said, we'll definitely stay in touch and keep track of whatever's going on with you guys' season. So.
No, definitely. Thanks for getting me out here. This is a cool podcast. I know for myself, if I were a younger athlete, this is something I'd definitely tune into just to get a little bit more knowledge, find a different way to achieve the things that I'm trying to do. You can never know too much. So.
Yeah, exactly. 1,000%.